All right, guys, if we're being honest, the weekly breakdown has kind of turned into more like a bi-weekly breakdown, but I don't think you guys are missing it. Maybe you are. Let me know if you are. But I do have a lot of updates for you this week. HighLevel did go gangbusters. I will try to stay on top of this and have it be a true weekly breakdown because typically HighLevel does these updates in waves. And so we're obviously in the middle of kind of a aggressive development wave. And so let's go ahead and jump in. We've got about 15, 16 updates to get through. Okay. So first update that we have is an update to the email importer. This is really exciting because before, if you guys have ever taken an email template and used the tool that HighLevel has to allow you to import that email template directly into HighLevel, you notice that it turns it into an HTML template. It makes it so that there's not really anything that you can do to edit it or anything like that. This is now fixed. This is now no longer the case. You can take an email. I'll show you an example. This is one that I used, an email that we had gotten from HighLevel. What did I do? I forwarded it. The process is super simple. I'll show you, but I wanted to show you like how it worked. It worked really, really well, in my opinion. You'll want to double check some of the merge fields that it kind of pre-populates there, those custom fields that it puts in there for you. But outside of that, I mean, it couldn't have gone better. Now, I did use a HighLevel template and forwarded a HighLevel template, so maybe that experience looks a little bit different with a different template. If you have a different experience, please let me know. But otherwise, I'm impressed. I'm excited about this. So basically, you're going to go into templates, you're going to click on new, and you're going to click on import email. So again, this flow is going to look familiar if you've tried this feature before, but what's different now is that you can have it open in the design editor instead of the code editor, which means you can take a template that you really like and you can adjust the colors, you can adjust the copy, you can adjust whatever you want with it without having to know how to custom code HTML. So really, really exciting stuff. Again, I showed you guys the result of what, our test. In my opinion, it worked really well, and this is as shitty as it's ever going to be, right? HighLevel is notorious for rolling out updates, rolling out features before they're ready for prime time. In my opinion, from my one test that I ran, this one's pretty ready to go. So definitely check it out. Let us know what you see. Now, speaking of email, another update, not quite as consequential, but still pretty cool. HighLevel has rolled out the ability to have email AI, when you're generating emails, have it reference your knowledge base. And so what this does is it makes it so that you don't have to provide near as much context when you're creating an email. Before, your knowledge base kind of existed on its own little island when it came to creating email content specifically. So when you create a custom email, you have the ability. Let me see if I can zoom in here. Okay, no, I'll go back into the builder for you guys. You have the ability, when you create an AI email, it references your brand and your brand voice, and your brand voice allows you to specify some stuff about your company, but it's not really fully comprehensive. On the other hand, if you go into AI agents and you create a knowledge base, these are free form knowledge base documents that you can create. You can upload files. You can direct it to your website if you keep your website up to date. You can do a lot of. You can point it to a guideline directory if the guidelines are staying up to date, and it allows for scraping. There's so much that you can do with this. Then now the fact that when you create a custom email, sorry, clicking around a little bit there. When you create a custom email, it will automatically. You don't have to do anything with this. It will automatically reference those knowledge base documents. So definitely a welcome change. I didn't get the opportunity to test this one out, so let me know if you do, if you see any issues with it. But again, welcome change that we're excited to see for sure when it comes to writing email content with AI. All right. Speaking of AI, the next update that I have for you guys is related to the schema markup. If you were around a couple weeks ago, I talked about how it was a big deal for specifically GEO, generative engine optimization. This is the alternative to SEO. This is basically optimizing your pages to make it so that your stuff shows up in search results for AI, like ChatGPT search, Gemini search, etc. You want to be able to mark up your schema. You want to be able to add a schema markup document to your pages for this to happen, for you to be able to optimize for the AI search. Now, before, you had no ability to create schema markup documents, which was a huge gap in the ability to optimize. Then you could do it, but it was very manual. So I told you, I instructed you guys, if you're going to do this, go to ChatGPT, provide it the link to your website, and ask it to create a schema markup for you. Well, now you have the ability to create a schema markup automatically using website and funnel AI. So right now it's going through this right now. It is creating a schema markup. I haven't tested this out yet, but here we go. Determining the best schema type, analyzing the document, blah, 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 validating the generated schema markup, and then boom, it's going to spit out a schema markup specifically for this page. So I don't know like what's going to stop them or why they wouldn't just do this automatically for somebody that didn't have this put together. If that's going to be a setting that you can add down the road, is just to turn this on automatically for your websites. I'm not sure. But in the meantime, if you have a website on HighLevel, I highly, highly recommend going into each page and going in and generating that schema markup automatically via AI. So that you're going to find that in SEO and AI search optimization, this little like page with a magnifying glass. You're going to find that there in the page builder. Go down to schema markup. And then create that schema markup automatically inside of here with create with AI. Okay. Again, more AI, because this wouldn't be a high-level weekly breakdown without talking about AI nonstop these days. So this one's very welcome as well. Blog post AI. So this is now the ability to just create blogs using AI, right? Exactly what it sounds like. So I went in and I showed you as easy as it can be to create this. Now I haven't looked and seen the result yet, but I went into a client that I know has a blog. I went in there, described the blog post topic and article on when it makes sense to refinance, even if your rate is significantly lower than market rates. Felt like that was timely. Put my word limit in here, the target audience, the keywords. Now these populated automatically based on what my topic was. So I was able to just select some keywords in here, and then ultimately, boom. I don't know about you guys. I mean, I haven't read it yet, but geez, this is nice. This was, I mean, you saw as much as I put in there. These images are nice. These are some of the best AI generated images that I've seen. Maybe they're stock, I don't know, but they're, I mean, good. Great list format. Great. Yeah. Wow. 10 out of 10. Definitely highly, highly recommend checking this out. If you don't have a blog already, then you definitely want to do this. If you do have a blog, then you potentially just shortcutted your blog creation process. This is huge when you need to tap home equity strategically, when you want to change your loan term, moving from an adjustable rate to a fixed rate, removing PMI. I mean, like you saw the instructions that I give it. This is very high quality. Definitely recommend using this feature as soon as it makes sense for you. All right, next update I have. This is a welcome update because I know that a lot of you guys have asked about custom objects. I've gone back and forth on custom objects for loan officers. Personally, I just haven't seen the need for most LOs to use custom objects. And this just gave one less reason to use custom objects, which is that now companies can be associated with opportunities. They also could be associated with custom objects, but that's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is using companies as a way to represent referral relationships. So if you go into let me go ahead and back out of this. I'll show you in here. If you go into settings and you go to objects, you now can rename all of your objects. And so companies you could rename as referral partners. Okay. And then what does that do? That makes it so that you can associate contacts to the referral partners that sent them to you. And then you also can associate the opportunities with those now. Before, you could associate contacts. You could not associate opportunities. Now you can associate opportunities with companies. And so this is just one more reason, in my opinion, why you wouldn't need a custom object. Just nobody uses that company feature as what it was like designed for anyways. go in there, rename that to referral partners, use the company object as your referral partner object, and now you can associate everything that you need to back up to that referral partner. So check that out. Let me know if you have any questions on that. We would be happy to. In the HL4 community specifically, we would be happy to walk you through exactly how you could set this up and see if you run into any challenges, see if we can help you get through those. Okay? Next update, opportunities. You now have the ability to collapse opportunity pipeline stages and resize your stages as well. Now, I thought the way that I understood this was that you would be able to resize your opportunity stages like individually, and I was like, might get a little weird. But I do know now that when you resize an opportunity stage, it actually resizes all of the open stages. And again, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know exactly what the use case would be here other than to fit more stages on a screen, which I suppose is valuable. But then also being able to take some of your stages that have gotten out of hand. In my opinion, if you have an active loan pipeline in particular, or a leads pipeline in particular, this client here has 1,000+ in ghosting right there. Like, in my opinion, there should be something at the end of the ghosting automation that marks them as abandoned so that this can stay a much lower number. But either way, if they're ghosting you, you probably don't need to see them in your pipeline every single day. And so being able to collapse that and focus on the opportunity stages that have a stronger call to action, a bigger need for you to be involved with it, is just good, sound, fundamental sales practices. So I definitely would take a look at this, collapse those opportunity pipelines that don't mean as much to you, and then spread these out. If you end up only having 3 pipeline stages at that point, or 4 pipeline stages at that point, then you can make those bigger. If you still have 10 pipeline stages, maybe you want to narrow those down a ton so that you can see as many of those on screen as possible. And there's nothing that says that you can't go back and forth with this as well. This is not a permanent setting by any means. So definitely a great way, in my opinion, to make sure that you're focusing on the opportunities, the loans, the leads, the referral partners, whatever it is. Focus on those opportunities that mean the most and are going to be the most likely to result in more closed loans for you. All right. Speaking of opportunities and being able to sort these and look at these in a way that it's going to result in more closed business for you, the next thing that I wanted to show you guys is the ability to sort by custom fields inside of opportunities. So this was not available before. You had a very small handful of fields that you could sort by, including stage, but even stage is like alphabetical order. Being able to sort by opportunity value, okay, kind of cool, I guess. But now you could do this by custom fields, which means if you have an opportunity pipeline that represents closed loans and refi opportunities, you could sort by interest rate, for an example. One thing, my example here is using this as your loan pipeline in Arrive. If you have your loan pipeline in Arrive, being able to come in here and sort by closing date so that you can go into any pipeline stage and you can see the ones that have the soonest closing date at the top. I think I have it backwards right now, but if I go this way, right, I can go into clear to close and I can look and see, wow, why do I have these ones that are, estimated closing date was the 15th and 16th. These are probably going to be my processor's highest priority going into here because these have obviously already passed the closing date. And same thing, going down into some more realistic dates in here, being able to look and see, okay, I have a loan closing on the 25th. I've got a couple on the 27th. So again, this is really cool, being able to do that with your interest rates. So taking your loans that have closed inside your LOS integration pipeline and moving those to a refi opportunity pipeline, having different stages based on either level of interest or interest rate buckets or, closing date or whatever it is that you want to do, being able to go in there and then sort by interest rate. And, you could just come in here on manage fields and you can, let's say we want to get rid of one of these and add interest rate. So loan details, right? Interest, okay. And then I can see, all right, there's my interest rates. And then I can come in here and I can sort now by that interest rate. Okay. Really cool stuff, really powerful stuff. Again, makes it so that if this was a refinance opportunity pipeline, I could look and see, sort by the highest interest rates at the top and call those guys first. So definitely check this out. Sorting by custom fields, huge win for loan officers. All right. Next up, we have updates to Notes. Notes got smarter for the contacts page. Now I'm going to show you a few of these updates just inside of the HighLevel change log, because sometimes HighLevel can demonstrate these better than my idea was. So in this case, I think that this is definitely the case. I like color coding notes. I didn't even think about of this and how valuable that could be. But you now have the ability to pin notes, which allows you basically a maximum of 2 notes can be pinned, so you can take notes that are maybe dynamic notes, right? Notes that you want to be, maybe that wasn't the right word to use for that, but notes that you want to continuously be updated throughout the loan instead of having a new note posted every time. Like, you know, you have your processor notes or something like that. Okay, pin that to the top during your loan process. Color coded a certain color, maybe processor notes are purple for processor. Well, now you can go in there and you can have it pinned to the top. So anytime you go in, you don't have to go scrolling and looking for the most recent note. Your processor is instructed to make sure that they're updating this note specifically, and it's pinned right to the top there, and it's purple so that you see, like, this is really cool. This is really cool. Searching notes. You now can search any information inside of a note with that search bar at the top there. That's really cool. Let's see, what else do they got? Note titles, being able to put a clear title. Again, this is another processor note. This is a clear title that you put at the top of the note that makes it so that it's easy to tell exactly what it is there. So, and then lastly, being able to attach files to notes, adding supporting documents directly to notes. This is making it a lot more favorable to use this as opposed to Arrive, where your auditors are hanging out, right? I'm not in the industry technically, so auditors, regulators can't come after me for this, but I've heard of a lot of loan officers and mortgage companies that prefer to have like the standard back and forth specifically for leads prior to them becoming an actual loan in process, have that happen inside of the notes section inside of HighLevel, so that there's less shit for auditors to go through when they ask to have the keys to your LOS, because they're not going to be asking for that for your HighLevel account, right? So just something to consider there. Lots of really cool updates. Notes definitely got a lot better for loan officers this last week. All right, merging a contact inside of HighLevel. Now you just got the ability to do that automatically. So I have a specific use case for this, which is when we have clients that that receive or that call out from the CRM, and they do that by manually dialing a phone number. So we have a client in particular that doesn't deduplicate contacts by phone number, so they have their LOs that are calling leads based on the phone number, and every time they do that, it creates a new contact. So now it wasn't possible before to automatically merge those on the back end. Well, now it is possible. So just one more reason to leverage workflows. If you're not making the most out of your workflows, you should be. But if you can think of another use case for this, please let us know. But again, we had one client in particular that I knew was going to be excited about this, so I wanted to include it in this week's breakdown. Another just kind of cool note feature, sticky notes inside of workflows are a great way to document what your thought process is. It's a great way for our clients to communicate to us when they put together a workflow and they want us to take a look. It's a great way for them to communicate to us what they were thinking. It's a great way for us to communicate to them what we're thinking when we put together a workflow. Now, sticky notes before were just like notes that could pin to the side of the workflow over here. In the advanced builder, there was more functionality that you could do with sticky notes. Well, now they've taken all the functionality that existed with sticky notes in the advanced builder, and they've added them to the standard builder as well. And so if you don't know the difference between those two, I'll show you really quick, right? This is the advanced builder. The standard builder looks like this. Most people are much more accustomed to the standard builder. Now you have the ability to do some cooler stuff with sticky notes inside of that standard builder. My favorite is being able to put the sticky note directly behind actions as a means of identifying specific things within the workflow, specific steps within the workflows, as opposed to just having that sticky note off to the side over here where you have to say and reference the steps with words rather than showing exactly what you're. All right. A couple on the AI builder. I told you guys before, I'll say it again. AI builder is not like the AI workflow builder is not ready for prime time, at least as a means of creating workflows that you couldn't already create for yourself inside the workflow builder. Could it help you shortcut some stuff? Sure. Is it going to be a faster shortcut to an absolute mess and disaster, dumpster fire if you don't know what you're doing with workflows? 100%. One of the reasons why is because it leaves steps to do after the workflow was generated via AI. Now, they've improved this a little bit by adding what they've called a post-generation to-do list, which they're supposed to call out, hey, you need to do these manual steps because we couldn't do it within the workflow. I don't trust it. I haven't even tried it yet this week. Again, as I said before, I'll wait every couple updates before I actually waste any time with this, because each time I'm disappointed in what the outcome is. So the next one in here, same thing, new skill for workflow settings and namings. This is cool. It means now they can interact with settings on the back end, but it's also frustrating that it was never made clear that they couldn't do that in the past. And you would think, so this, post generation to-do list would tell you that, hey, you got to make sure you configure the settings in the back end. But if you tried creating a workflow that stopped on response, well, that's a workflow setting in the back end. And so it would try to create that via steps in the workflow instead of telling you, hey, this is something that should be done in the settings in the back end. So it's just shit like that, where it's like, if you don't know what you're doing with workflows already, this isn't going to help you a ton. I hate to say it. I will be the first to tell you when I see that it's gotten to that point, and I'll be excited. I'll be jumping for joy with you, but it's just not there yet, if we're being honest. Last update that I have for you is that they now have a pre-built A2P campaign that makes it much easier to submit for A2P. Now, I would not recommend using this as a mortgage lender, specifically a mortgage broker. There are very nuanced, and well, mortgage lender in general, yeah, they're just very nuanced pieces of A2P registration that I would not recommend using their pre-built stuff for. You will be frustrated by it. If you need help getting A2P approved, join HL4. Nick on our team put together a really cool 30-40 minute video walking you through exactly what you need to know to be able to get A2P approved. We've got tons of resources for you in there. So join HL4, go through that process. It's going to be manual, but at least you will keep yourself from banging your head against your desk repetitively, because that's what lies in front of you if you try to tackle this with something templated that HighLevel provides. Yeah. Guys, that's it for this week's weekly breakdown. I flew through this stuff, but as always, you have the ability to pause, revisit stuff, join HL4 if you have any questions on anything specific. But otherwise, guys, thank you so much for watching this week's weekly breakdown. Until next week's, we'll see you at the top.